The Mortal Kombat Arcade Collection. What a perfect series to bring to the Nintendo Switch. Hi guys, and welcome back to the Switch Wish List. This is also going to be a little bit of both PlayStation and Xbox for the next gens, because there are some things about this I would like to see. So as you can see here, I do actually have Mortal Kombat 1. This is the Sega Genesis version, by the way, in this little arcade game. But unfortunately, the blood code doesn't work on this game, and it hasn't been from the lack of trying. Still, it's pretty cool. And it is pretty cool. So, there's a lot to consider here. And it just turned itself on again. That's actually... Oh, there, okay. Okay, good, it's off. That was funny. Anywho, so this episode is all about the arcade collection, which went from Mortal Kombat 1, 2, 3, Ultimate 3, the Trilogy series, and Mortal Kombat 4, which also had its own version, which was Mortal Kombat Gold. Now, there was one side game to this, which was Mythologies. It was the last game to truly feature the digitized actors, but that's a completely different game to get into and stuff. So, let's talk about it. So, how can you get your hands on all these old games? Well, in my case, I happen to have quite a few, as you can make out there, MK2 and 3 on the cover, Rampage, Primal Rage, and stuff. I have these things, old versions of the game. Midway Arcade Collections 2, which came with Mortal Kombat 2, 3, Rampage, Narc. I mean, the list. Just look at that list. That is a great list. And I was lucky to get a hold of this. I mean, look, I even have the original box art and everything. Well, not the exact original case, obviously, but still. And it's currently in my PS2. And yes, I do actually have a PS2. A working original model with the bay for the, not only hard drive, but also the, the modem. So it's over there, it's nice and safe. Wow, a lot to take in. So let's get started. So first off, I do want to point out that I really got to enjoy these series as I was growing up. I was in the right time. I was a teenager. I was about 12, 13 when I saw the first game. Then MK2 came out, then 3. So I remember that. And I remember on 3, for example, they had an advertisement for the movie, and it pops up. And it is actually on the Arcade Collection 2 one. Now, in recent time, we've had a few re-releases every once in a while. The PlayStation 3 over here, actually, I have 2 copies of MK2. One is an actual, just straight copy, and the other is part of the arcade collection. And the cool thing was they were actually updated to also include online multiplayer. So you could do both co-op locally and online multiplayer. It's really cool. I don't know if that's still available, but they're cool. And they're only digital, I'm sorry to say. So there's no physical copy of those 3 games. But you can pick up a copy of those games in that regard. They just won't be in high definition like that. And that is the 1UP arcade cabinets. Now I gotta say, I actually have been able to play one of these cabinets. It's a display in a store in Walmart next to a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles one. And it's cool. It's got the MK2 arcade art box, artwork and stuff. Even down to how the controllers, little things like insert coin and stuff. Unfortunately, one complaint I've actually heard about the 1UP arcades, and I've seen a few people talk about it, and I have actually experienced with this, is that the control scheme is not the most responsive. And I can attest to this because I have played, performed fatalities, and kicked a whole lot of butt on those original arcade machines. And it's very difficult to do certain moves or things. And that is one of the biggest problems that can occur with these games, is you have to have good controls. So that's something to take in. However, I gotta say it, they did a damn good job here. And it's got a high definition screen. Unfortunately, it is original, from 1991 to 92 to 95 level graphics. So unfortunately, they have not aged the best. It's different with these ones because they are in high definition, or they were pretty much done pretty well here with like Arcade Treasures. You're still limited with what the technology you actually have, but at least they look good. And in case you're forgetting, I have a big ass 50-inch TV to watch and play this stuff on. So pretty cool. Now, even with all of that, 1, 2, 3, Ultimate, and Trilogy, there are actually a couple of games that haven't been totally re-released in a sense. Trilogy has not been. We've had three or Ultimate. Really, it's more Ultimate right now, and I do actually enjoy Ultimate. But even I feel a little concerned sometimes. I mean, yes, you get to play as Smoke right off the bat, but you have to unlock three characters. There's a lot of other things that happen, and they really slow down Cabal. It's the biggest complaint there. People really do still like playing three because Cabal was kick ass, and it's pretty true. But they did add a lot. However, Mortal Kombat 4 and its subsequent game, Mortal Kombat Gold for the Sega Dreamcast, ever since they were released, they have not been re-released. There's hardly been any talk about them. And it's the same with when they went straight to console, because all the games that I'm talking about for this, for the Switch, and these other consoles, they were the original arcade games. And I would actually like to see them get a good remaster to really restore them to their most, try to go back to the negatives, really give them an improvement while also preserving the original form, kind of like how, these Nintendos right here do, and really give us a good thing. But I understand where it could be a problem. However, I would love to see a complete series. 1, 2, 3, Ultimate, Trilogy, 4, Gold. I would love to have all those games. And I feel that the arcade collection has been kind of denied that. We haven't had 4. Now, 4 wasn't the most popular, but it was a good game. It really was the first step into the 3D era. It did let them do more things. There was actual stuff that you could maneuver in the environments. They had a weapon mode where you could bring out the weapon and beat people to death with it. And they had some really inventive fatalities and stage fatalities and stuff. And there were some really cool ones. There was also some great levels that we've seen pop up in future games that were just incredible, like the whole Shinnok aspect, like we saw in MK10 and MK11, like, the Jinsei chamber. That's where originally, you had this room where you would meet the Elder Gods. It's literally based on that room. It was freaking awesome. So there was some stuff that actually did make sense with 4. And it's been the one series we haven't seen restored, in my unfortunate opinion. It sucks, because I really would like to see it not only get remastered, but also come back. And the problem is, there are only so many releases of the game. You have the original arcade games, by the way. You have the PlayStation and the N64 versions. I have a PlayStation version, which actually gets to look a lot better on the PS3, by the way, and the Sega Dreamcast version. There's also a Game Boy Color version, which is not too bad, but it's, it's not like you're playing it on a Game Boy Advance. Even that would be limited, but it would have still been better. There's been more versions of free and Ultimate released. For example, my Game Boy, my Nintendo DS, I actually have a version of Ultimate 3, arcade quality, by the way, on my DS, thanks to that. So that's something to take in, and it is an actual arcade game version too, by the way, because when they released the Super, it was actually missing Shiva. So there's a little something to remember. So there's that. I would love to get my hands on the whole arcade collection. All the games, even the few that were based on those that were put on those consoles. Otherwise, you have to hunt them down. Now, in my case, I do have a good retro collection, so I don't have that many problems. But there are a few that even I'm still looking for. Mortal Kombat 4 on the Dreamcast, I have to first A, find a Dreamcast, and then find the game. That's probably going to be a little harder than I was expecting. So there's my problems. So an actual restored collection, remastered, 5.1 audio would also be nice. And, maybe some documentaries, which I think not only could the Switch handle, but also, the PS4, the PS5, the Xbox, whatever's, and it would be nice. And plus it would be great for more people to get to those older games, to understand that original series before we made the move to the console generation, which started with really Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance. This is a game that I'm also surprised has not gotten any re-releases, and I'll talk about that more in another video. So I would like to see them actually come back. I would love to see them get redone and little stuff like that. But at the moment, I just don't know. I mean, the only way you're going to get some of these old games is the arcade cabinet, which would be a nice thing. But remember, even though I have more room now, an arcade cabinet would take up a lot of space, and it's also $300. And to be fair, I'd rather buy another 4K TV or a new sound system. This one's great, by the way, but I would like to have another one for the other setup. So there's that. And I totally understand where people are coming from. Plus, there are just so many one-up arcade cabinets to choose from. Turtles, and I would also like the Turtle series to come. I'll talk about that later. But anyways, guys, the arcade collection is the one I want for this. That's my wish list. It is a wish list, but I would love to see it happen. And I'll see you guys later. Like and subscribe. And leave your own comments for games you'd like to see come as well. Peace.